Hey, you. You're finally awake.
The original Xbox. A console so powerful, so ahead of its time, and so frickin' huge. You could probably use it as a step stool, a blunt weapon, or a makeshift coffee table. But what made the Xbox legendary? The games. The console gave us some of the most iconic, innovative, and straight up unforgettable gaming experiences of our time. Today we're taking a deep dive in 7 of the absolute best games that defined an era, wrecked our social lives, and had us calling in sick from school just to play. If you want to hear more of me, Retro Wars is a weekly podcast where each week we look at the games we used to play back when we were kids. And just to give everyone a bit of a heads up, by the time this episode is released, because I try and do these in bulk, and I try and do these in advance, we will probably have our second child, Gaiden. Will probably have been born probably today. I'll give everyone an up-to-date when he is actually here. But yes, we are ready for our second child, so I will probably be in hospital by the time I release this. So hopefully everything goes okay, and I will have a second child, which is quite scary. But as I said, I'll keep everyone updated. But aside from that, let's now get into it. Some of the best games from the original Xbox. Alright, let's start with Fable. A game that lets you choose your own adventure, shape your hero's destiny, and most importantly, fart on villagers just to see their reactions. Now, I'm going to be quite honest here. I could not get good footage of this. I was really struggling to get good actual original footage. So this is just some of the first minutes of the original game. So yeah, I can't share anything else. You begin the game as a wide-eyed, innocent child in a peaceful town of Oakvale, where everything is wonderful, charming, and about to go completely to hell. Because of course bandits show up, burn everything down, and murder your entire family. That's a happy childhood, right? Luckily you're rescued and taken into the Heroes Guild, where you train to become the ultimate warrior, archer, or spellcaster, or to be honest, a hybrid of all three because you really couldn't commit about which one you wanted to do. But what really set Fable apart was its morality system. Every choice mattered. Would you be a noble hero saving towns and helping the weak? Or would you go full mustache-twirling villain, robbing merchants, murdering guards, and literally growing devil horns? Your appearance changed based on your actions. Be good and you'll glow with an angelic light. Be evil and you'd have glowing red eyes, demonic scars, and flies buzzing around you like you just crawled out of a haunted graveyard. And let's talk about some of those NPC interactions. The game lets you flirt, marry, and even get divorced, because nothing says heroic adventure like emotionally ruining someone's life. You could own houses, charge rent, and essentially become a medieval real estate tycoon. The combat, well, that was surprisingly deep. The melee, ranged, and magic system let you create all sorts of ridiculous builds. And don't even get me started on the aging system, because in Fable, the more magic you used, the faster you aged like a fine cheese left out in the sun. By the time you finished the game, you could look like someone's grandpa who had seen far, far too much. Did Fable live up towards grand promises? Not quite. But did it give us an unforgettable, hilarious, and genuinely magical experience? Absolutely. Next, we have the game that single-handedly made the Xbox a must-have console, Halo: Combat Evolved. If you didn't play this, what were you even doing with an Xbox? Using it as a paperweight, or maybe as something to kill someone? You step into the big green boots of Master Chief, a super soldier with the personality of a brick wall, but the combat skills of a one-man army. After waking up from cryosleep, you immediately start doing what you do best, shooting aliens in the face. The game throws you onto the Halo, a giant mysterious ring world that equal parts sci-fi paradise and death trap. One minute you're admiring the beautiful landscapes, the next you're getting blown up by a grunt with a plasma grenade. Now I want to talk about that pistol. That thing was so overpowered it made sniper rifles feel useless. 3 shots to the head and even the elites went down. Bungie might have called it a sidearm, but we all knew the truth. It was like a handheld tank cannon. And then there was the Warthog, the most ridiculous yet lovable vehicle in gaming history. Driving it felt like controlling a bar of soap on a frozen lake, and if you were the passenger, you just had to accept that you were going to be flipped into a ravine at some point. Like, you were gonna die. But the true magic of Halo, the LAN parties. You and your friends crammed together, yelling at each other over a 16-player match, until someone finally says, right, no, that's it, and rage quits because they got stuck by a plasma grenade for the 10th time. And just when you thought you had the game figured out, boom, the floods show out. Suddenly, this fun sci-fi shooter turns into a full-blown survival horror game, and you're running for your life, low on ammo, and screaming as an alien zombie parasite swarm you from every angle. Halo Combat Evolved isn't just a game, it was a movement. And if you're not staying up till 3 AM playing it, did you even experience the golden age of gaming? If I can, I try not to put two games of the same franchise on the same list. However, I feel it's impossible here, because I need to talk about Halo 2. The sequel that broke all the rules and turned multiplayer into an absolute bloodbath of fun. Halo 2 picked up where Halo Combat Evolved left off, with Master Chief chasing the Covenant across the galaxy and saving humanity in the process. But this time, things were bigger, louder, and infinitely more stylish. You didn't just fight the Covenant anymore, you fought a war. One of the coolest features? Dual wielding. Finally, you could hold two guns at once, like a space cowboy, just gunning down everything that moved with no chill whatsoever. It was like the developers said, you know what, screw balance, let's just give players two guns and let them go nuts. And you did, because it was bonkers. Energy swords? Oh, remember the first time you got your hands on one of those? That insta-kill slash, you just felt unstoppable. 1 second you're sprinting, the next second you've teleported right into a group of enemies, swinging that blade of death like a deranged Jedi. The sword was a game changer, especially in those epic multiplayer matches where it became the most coveted weapon on every map. And who could forget that multiplayer? Halo 2 practically invented online multiplayer for console thanks to Xbox Live. No more waiting for friends to show up, now you could hop online and obliterate strangers from around the world while screaming at them through your headset. Trash talking was an art form, which I've learned through football or soccer depending on what you want to do. But let's not forget about the story. The twist at the end, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but let's just say the Arbiter was a damn cool character. The narrative depth and plot twists made Halo 2 one of the most memorable gaming experiences of all time. Halo 2 just didn't refine its predecessor, it revolutionized the genre. It's more than a shooter, it was definitely a big, huge cultural event. Continuing in space, let's go with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, or KOTOR. It's the reason BioWare became a household name. It's one of the best RPGs of all time. Imagine this, you're not some random stormtrooper or rebel scum, you're a Jedi, or Sith, navigating through a galaxy far, far away, hundreds of years before Luke Skywalker even thought about saving the galaxy. KOTOR wasn't just a game, it was a full-on Star Wars epic. Character creation? Well, you start with nothing. And as you meet companions, discover ancient Jedi teachings, and face off against evil Sith Lords, you make life-altering decisions that affect not only your destiny, but the entire galaxy. Now, there is a big twist here, but seriously, the twist in KOTOR will make your jaw drop. It completely redefines everything you thought you knew about the game and leaves you reeling, but I'm not going to spoil it here because KOTOR is still a game which everyone should experience. Plus lightsabers. Oh, the lightsabers. You can build your own, choose your colour, and wield them with force powers that make you feel like the most badass Jedi to ever exist. 1 second you're force pushing enemies into a wall, and the next you're cutting down swarm of enemies like a one-person army. Not only did KOTOR redefine Star Wars games, but it also made RPGs more accessible for everyone. Choices, combat, relationships, it had it all, and to this day it stands as one of the most influential RPGs in history. If you love Star Wars and haven't played KOTOR, stop what you're doing right now. Stop this video, go play it. Just go play it and then come back and you'll thank me later. You might need to tell work you're going to be spending a few days off though. Now let's take a moment to appreciate Jet Set Radio Future, a game that combined graffiti, rollerblading and funky music in a way that nobody expected. This was a style, swag and speed in a beautifully vibrant world of neon graffiti-filled streets. You play as part of the GGs, a gang of rebellious rollerbladers trying to take down a corporate conspiracy in the futuristic city of Tokyo 2. It's like Tony Hawk meets the Jetsons, except instead of ollies and flips, you're tagging walls with epic graffiti while outrunning cops and rival gangs. The controls were fast, the soundtrack was funky as hell, and the art style, oh, pure magic. This game is a perfect blend of hyper-stylized cel-shading and an atmosphere that made you feel like you were a living, breathing comic book. And of course the skating mechanics. Grind rails, wall ride, and hit sick flips, all while the game's music pumped through you like that crazy offbeat techno hip-hop hybrid. You didn't just skate, you flowed. It was like being in an urban development dreamland where everything was possible. Sure, the game wasn't perfect, sometimes the objectives were a bit frustrating, and the camera could be a bit wonky, but the sheer style and insane atmosphere made it unforgettable. It's the kind of game that makes you want to grab a spray can and leave your own mark on the world, except legally. Do it legally and not on a Tesla. Alright? Make it very clear. Legally. Now let's talk about Psychonauts, a game that's weird, creative, and off the wall as they come. It's got platforming, it's got humour, it's got psychic powers, and what more do you need? You play as Rasputin, a young psychic who runs away from the circus to join a secret government organisation called the Psychonauts. Your mission? to infiltrate the minds of crazy characters to solve their psychological issues and uncover a mind-bending conspiracy. To be fair, if they tried to do that with me, they would be all day. The stuff that goes on in my head, I pray someone is never going to release that into the world. But what makes this game so special? It's got the quirkiest characters in gaming history. There's Mildred, a grandma with serious anger issue, and the Lungfish, who has a whole other world in his mind. That's me. That's definitely me. Each level is a completely unique mental landscape, from a wrestling ring in a brain to a psychedelic milkshake world. And the dialogue is absolutely hilarious, and the game's writing is so sharp and clever that you'll often find yourself laughing out loud. But the real kicker here is the psychic abilities. Telekinesis, levitation, pyrokinesis. You get to control minds and use all sorts of crazy power to manipulate the environment and fight off bizarre enemies. It's a psychological adventure like no other. Every level has its own feel and its own set of challenges, and all of this adds up to Psychonauts being one of the most unique games ever made. If you haven't played it yet, do yourself a favour and go dive in. You're not going to regret it and you'll love me for it. And finally, let's talk about Ninja Gaiden, a game that demanded perfection and left you questioning whether or not you were actually a ninja. You play as Ryu Hayabusa, a ninja on a mission to get revenge for the death of his father and protect his clan. Sounds simple. Wrong. This game throws insanely difficult combat at you from the moment you pick up your sword. We're talking bosses that'll make you throw the controller, but also come back for more because it's just that damn good. The combat was fast, fluid, and absolutely punishing. You could chop through enemies with perfect precision, stringing combos together in a flurry of sword slashes and acrobatic moves. It made every battle feel like an intense dance of death. And the difficulty? Unforgiving. You mess up, and you'll be facing a game over screen faster than you can say ninjas are hard. But here's the thing, the challenge was part of the appeal. Every victory felt earned, and every boss defeat felt like a personal triumph. Ninja Gaiden didn't just hold your hand, but it rewards you for mastering its complex mechanics. And by the end, you were a true ninja, and you could face the hardest enemies in gaming history, from giant monsters to rival ninjas. You might have had to replay sections over and over again, and possibly throw your controller once in a while, probably not with the Xbox controller because you're definitely going to kill someone. But the rush of beating a brutal level was definitely worth it. It's the ultimate test of skill, patience and willpower, and if you did conquer it, you could proudly say you're one of the elite few who had mastered Ninja Gaiden. And that's it. 7 of the Xbox's best games. I hope you like this list. Are the ones that I've missed? Let me know in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you in a few days, hopefully, where I'll be a father of 2. My name's been Danny, take care of yourself, bye bye.